Okay, so I've set my Doom 2016 machine up downstairs, just because I'm downstairs probably more often. It allows me to use it for video editing and more things for the channel. But I needed to get a cheap microphone just to use for recording footage, so I've opted for this FiFine microphone. Anyway, I thought I'd make a video just to check it out and test it against a 90s style microphone that I've used in the past. So as I needed a microphone downstairs, I went for this FiFine technology microphone. It comes in very nice packaging. I got it from Amazon. It was £23.99. Get a user guide. It gives you information on what the microphone can achieve. It's got a built-in sound card apparently to amplify it. It comes with this windbreak that you can put on the top, a little stand to stuff it on, and a clip, which is always handy with the stand. You get plenty of cabling and one of these 4-pin plugs which plugs into the end of the microphone, and the microphone itself is actually quite weighty. It's quite a substantial device. We've got these backwards knobs for volume and echo, and the lead plugs in with a surprisingly satisfying click, which is always nice from any equipment really. Anyway, I'm going to test it against this Quickshot microphone from the 90s, which I still have lying around. It's an original one I have, but we'll get to that in a second. Now, the stand comes with this adapter for the clip, so you've either got a large threaded hole or a small one, which is quite handy because I also picked up one of these swing arms, which I'm going to stand on. The stand that comes with it is perfectly good, it's quite stable, but I want it on an arm like this, and with that you need an adapter because it's only got a small screw point, which is lovely. It fits on there delightfully, microphone clips in, and it holds the weight perfectly well. I was quite pleased with that. I was going to put the windbreak plosive filter on, but I got this for a couple of quid. These are like £3, and to be honest, the cheap ones are perfectly adequate. And that clipped onto the arm nicely. Nice little setup there. Quite good for what I'll be using this for downstairs. A bit of narration. Anyway, I thought I'd read some chapters from the Windows 98 communications book for you. So this is raw and unedited from this microphone. Hyperterminal is another Windows 98 accessory and resides in Accessories/Communications, alongside of Phone Dialer, as shown previously. If Hyperterminal does not appear on the Communications menu, it should be installed under Windows Setup in the manner just described for the Phone Dialer. So as you can hear, it's okay. There's not much background interference. It's a bit tinny. It's a little bit distant. So we'll polish it up a bit and see what difference that makes. Hyperterminal is another Windows 98 accessory and resides in Accessories/Communications, alongside of Phone Dialer, as shown previously. If Hyperterminal does not appear on the Communications menu, it should be installed under Windows Setup in the manner just described for the Phone Dialer. Now, I'm sure you'll agree that sounds a lot better, and that was achieved just with a bass boost, a treble boost, and a leveler to make the volume consistent across the range. It gives a much more rounder sound, a much closer, it just sounds more intimate. Okay, so here's what a clip sounds like with that echo knob turned all the way up and it polished afterwards. Hyperterminal is started by clicking on hypertrm.exe. A black window appears into which you can type various AT commands which are used to control modems. Now that's nothing you couldn't do in software afterwards, but I suppose it's nice just to have it on the microphone just in case you want to whack a bit of echo into a recording. Okay, so let's move on to this Quickshot PC microphone that I used to use for, I don't know, BT Wireplay or some obscure use in the 90s. To check the integrity of the cabling, attach a telephone handset to the telephone socket in the modem if possible. You should hear a dialing tone and be able to manually dial up a telephone number, perhaps the connection of an internet service provider if you are already a subscriber. Now, it's only a cheap 90s microphone for internet use when the internet was very young, but it sounds like a bag of absolute arse, and one of the main reasons for that was I had to boost the volume significantly for it to pick up anything. So I've cleaned it up and I've reduced the background sound, and this is what it sounds like after that. To check the integrity of the cabling, attach a telephone handset to the telephone socket in the modem if possible. You should hear a dialing tone and be able to manually dial up a telephone number, perhaps the connection of an internet service provider if you are already a subscriber. So I guess you know the difference between a 90s internet microphone and a current £20 microphone used for general purpose. It's not a bad microphone, to be fair, but we should really compare this to a better microphone, so here is my Snowball microphone, just for comparison purposes. If you feel confident to remove the metal case of the computer, you should be able to see the small ribbon cable connected to COM2 on the motherboard, next to the cable for the mouse attached to COM1. If the cable for COM2 is not in place, then connect it, making sure the coloured stripe on its edge is in the correct position. Copy the orientation of the mouse cable on COM1. As you can hear, the Snowball does sound better, so if you spend a bit more money, 40, 50 quid more, then you get a much better quality of microphone, but that's not always possible. Like now, which is why I bought a cheaper microphone. And that Snowball footage, by the way, is pretty much unedited. It's had a leveler applied to it, but with the cheap microphone you do need to apply some filters to broaden that sound range, and that's the sort of difference you get. When you compare it to the 90s internet microphone, everything looks much rosier, so that's what I'm going to do from this point onwards. One thing to note about these USB microphones is it's hard to increase the volume. I mean, this has got a volume control on the top, but even at max volume it does sometimes come out quiet, and this applies to my Snowball as well. And the way to get around that is just to edit it after you've recorded it and just increase the volumes using a leveler or something like that. It's unfortunate because, if you plug a microphone into the sound card like I did with the 90s PC one, then you can increase the sound output as it comes in. But as we heard, that sounds like a bag of absolute nails. Anyway, I hope you've found this episode interesting. Stay tuned for more during the week. Thanks for watching. Oh, there's a link below, by the way, if you're interested in this microphone at all. See you soon. Thanks for watching.